The time I felt completely helpless. It all happened 6 years ago on the morning of February 21st, 2005. It started off as a normal morning, just like any other day. My older brother Philip and I were both already at school. At that time, Philip was a sophomore and I was in 8th grade. My oldest brother Adam was a senior. As soon as the bell rang to go to our first class, I heard the sirens going off in town. As there were only a few events in which the sirens go off, it left me to wonder what had happened. Little did I know I would soon find out the reason why the sirens were going off. It wasn't long after that I was pulled out of history class and notified that there had been an accident. I immediately started crying, unable to stop to even catch my breath. Those words hit me like a stake going through my heart. I was waiting in the office with my aunt, who was a secretary at the time, until Philip had arrived in the office. Our principal had notified him of the crushing news, and we sat there together crying. My aunt then drove us to Kit Carson County Memorial Hospital in Burlington, where the rest of our family awaited us. The local sheriff directed us to the room where our parents and the rest of our family were waiting. When Philip and I had walked in the room, we immediately went and hugged our parents. We all stood there huddled up together, crying, knowing there was nothing we could do, feeling completely helpless. I remember going into the room where the doctors and nurses were working on Adam. We were only allowed in there for a few minutes, just to say a few last words before they flew him flight for life to Denver. I still remember how cold his blue body was when I touched his arm and muttered, "I love you, Adam. Be strong. We'll be there for you when you get to Denver." Even still to this day, that was the longest ride to Denver ever. Upon arriving at St. Anthony's Memorial Hospital, we were united with the rest of our family. As the time passed, there was nothing we could do but wait. So we waited and waited and waited. When the doctors finally let us go in and see Adam, I remember seeing all the IVs and tubes and different machines that he was connected to. I can't even begin to describe everything else I saw. At that time, Adam was in a coma, on life support, unable to breathe fully on his own. Seeing him like that broke my heart. Once again, I felt completely helpless. As the days went by, Adam started showing very gradual amounts of improvement. Philip and I stayed in Denver the first week that Adam was in the hospital, but we eventually had to go back to school. We stayed with my aunt and uncle during the time that Adam was in the hospital. After the first week, my dad too had to come back and go to work, as he is the main mechanic around our farms. My mom stayed in Denver, close to the hospital, throughout the time that Adam was there. As the weeks went by, Adam began improving more and more, even though that meant he was going through immense, unimaginable pain and suffering. There was nothing I could do to help comfort him or take his pain away. Knowing that hurt so much, once again, leaving me feeling completely helpless. It was so hard being away from him during the weeks. Although my dad, Philip, and I got to go see him and my mom on the weekends, it just didn't feel like we ever got to spend enough time together. The worst part was leaving. After 2.5 months in the hospital, from being in a coma and on life support, to being in a wheelchair, to finally being able to walk again, we were finally able to leave the hospital and bring Adam home, this time all together as a family.